epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, the spring of hope, the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. Believe what you want, but it sounds kind of like the times that we currently live in. But the more things change, the more things stay the same. So change truly is the only thing that's constant. Look at us tonight. Take pride in themselves. Look at us. The pride of our parents' eyes. Hopes and dreams of our grandparents. The victory fought for by the generation before us. You know, somewhere in heaven, slaves look down upon us right now and smile because you sit where you sit. Just because somebody had the audacity to work hard, to dream, have hope and faith. A quick history lesson that in the 1560s, we know that slavery was introduced to this continent. Somewhere around 1863, slaves were free. 1963, we said that we had the March on Washington. 1970, BSU at this very campus was founded. 2008, we saw Brownlee elected. From the time of the first slaves being bought to now, history is still being made, ladies and gentlemen. And our people have been a part of it since the first slaves all the way up to right now. Before we even knew what we were making history, but when we were just doing the right thing and standing up for what we knew to be right. Black history is more than just a list of famous, successful African Americans, more than just a few accomplishments. There's a stream of honorable and brave individuals who have sometimes quietly, sometimes dramatically taking personal responsibility to ensure treatment for all people. But the question still needs to be remained and it still needs to be answered. Are we satisfied, or do we still have work to do? I'd like for you to take a little bit of personal responsibility about this question and look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you doing enough? Are we doing enough? You gain the right to vote, you segregate schools, church, military jobs, neighborhood, and government. Came out in record numbers and elected a black man president. But now what? Are we satisfied, or do we still have work to do? Are you personally doing enough? Are we doing enough, or is it going to be our high water mark? We've done the impossible countless times. Do we still have things to accomplish? When we join these prestigious organizations with all these powerful unifying words, associations, councils, unity, brotherhood, fraternity, sorority, all of these powerful words. And if you know anything about your history on this campus, you'll know that all of them started from the BSU. Allah, Congress Creole, CSA, all of MPHC, most of MGC, NAACP, even AK5. One big family of organizations. We used to like to say that the organizations were like fingers. BSU was like a city. You should think about that. You are part of history, and you are amongst the stars every time that you join one of these organizations. I would preferably tell you to join most. But are you satisfied, or are you doing your part? Even in your organizations, are you living up to the potential? Are you living up to the history? Are you living up to the motto? Are you living up to the legacy that's been left for you, or are you living off of the legacy? Are you a part of the organizations, or are you just in them? Anybody can be in. Requires next to nothing. Requires the bare minimum. But are you a part of it? Is it a part of you? What do you do for your organization? What do you add? Is it better since you joined? Has it sustained since you've joined? The organizations are a little bit better or a little bit worse because of you. This goes doubly for the people that are not serving as leaders. The general member is double for you. It's a little bit better or it's a little bit worse because of you. Because you can make it so that it's hard to be a leader. Are we doing our part? Are we satisfied, or do we still have work to do? We've been told that since we were little that this generation is special. That we're destined for greatness, that we will make a change. We've been raised with these rosy-colored glasses, so that everything's going to be all right. Play it the lessons of the past and make excuses. You know that the ages most of you are right now, and in the condition most of you are right now, people your age that look just like you were changing the world through the civil rights movement. So what's our excuse? Are we doing enough? Have we forgotten or just taken for granted the lessons of the past? Do you know your history at all? This can all be taken away from y'all, brothers and sisters. We seem to have gotten lazy at the point in the battle where we should be taking up the fight. We're losing our veterans day by day. We're at this age when we're the strongest, we're at our sharpest, and we're supposed to be taking up the fight. This is not their fight anymore. You're grown now. Have we forgotten that unity in education has never stopped being important? Have we forgotten that the ones in college, the successful ones, the talented temps, as they call them, are responsible for the uprising and teaching of our people? And we are never to give up that fight regardless of how they want it or whether they don't want to be a part of the uprising. Have we forgotten this? Of course it's going to be hard. Every time we move forward, someone will try to knock us back. We push on. Making history, making change is easier than maintaining the history. You can make the change, but then you keep it. But the true victory is in the making. You can make it. You can keep it. This is your lesson. Are you satisfied, or do you still have work to do? What happens if you didn't? Where's your pride? Where's our work ethic? Where's our accountability to each other that past generations seem to have? We seem to have so much carelessness, so much self-promotion, so self-righteous, too many convenient excuses for why we can't do anything. Look here. You're not the first. You're not the last. You're not the only person that ever has to do anything that you're doing right now. I hear these excuses all the time. I have family, school, studies, graduation, work. People have been here to do these things. I find it funny that we never hear these same excuses when it's time to go to conference. We never hear these same excuses when a step shows up. But you ask somebody to come to an event, and all of a sudden they're so stupid. But I can catch you on Facebook for 4 or 5 hours at the same time that the event is happening. How many of y'all know this to be true? You've heard my resume, but let me give you 2 more to think on. My good friend D'Angelo Frazier. While in school as a full-time student and having a full-time job, he served on the BSU board. He was the president of CSA. He was the president of MPHC. He was the president of Phi Beta Sigma. He was in student government. Oh, and he also somehow found time to almost be the member of the year for Common Creole and Allah. Let me give you another one. My good friend Devin T. Robinson. Superman. He was on NAACP. He was in BSU. And somehow, being a full-time student, he still had time to keep a worldwide touring schedule around the world doing his thing. So don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me what you don't do. Tell me why you can't do. Tell me how you don't do. Tell me what it is that you can do. Because I'm giving you that's 3 examples of people that made multiple things happen. And it's not so much that we're better than you, and it's not so much that we're that much stronger than you, but there was a need, and the need had to be filled. And leaders step up when need is needed to be filled. But it could be so much better if other people would take that workload off our hands sometimes. Put it to you like this. MLK was in college, and he was married when he was leading the civil rights movement. So why can't you? You can do the same. You can be great leaders too. People make time for the things that they want to do. They make excuses for everything else. You remember that. Get with the program. We got a lot of making up to do. People have died, gone to jail, and suffered so that we can be more than just a part of the process and be pushed through the system. But so that we can be the process and we can control the process on every level. On your campus, in your neighborhood, state, local, and federal. Stop playing leadership. Let's stop playing involved. Let's stop playing community service when we don't really service the community. We have too many titles and we don't have nearly enough leadership. Too much putting in work, but not enough working. What do you do? What's the long-term effect of your involvement in your organization? What's your legacy that you're leaving? Is it a t-shirt? Is it free food? Have you contributed at all? Let's stop waiting for the next great leaders and become them. Because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the Superman that we are waiting for. Nobody's coming to save you. You're your own superhero. You make your own luck. You make your own destiny. All the problems we face, we have the answer to. We're our best trained, our best educated, our best prepared, our best equipped, and we have the most potential, yet we refuse to fight. We know our problems best. We just have to start working on our problems and stop waiting for someone else to solve our problems. We can sit in fancy meetings, conferences, and forums all day talking, but we still have to get out there and do the action. The G.I. Joe generation knows that knowing is half the battle, but action is the other half of the battle. You can know all day, you ain't got to do it. Stop procrastinating. After you graduate or after you get settled are terrible excuses for not doing anything. It will never be the right time. It will never be a convenient moment. You have to get settled and start right now from where you are. The time management you learn from being involved in multiple things and having multiple things to do only prepares you for what real life is. You don't get more time once you graduate, ladies and gentlemen. You get more work, more responsibility, more meetings. It doesn't get easier because once you graduate and you get a family, now you have city government, you got county government, you have neighborhood associations, you have PTAs, you have school boards. See, once you're so busy worrying about the federal government, but while you're worried about the federal government, your neighborhood association will make it so that you don't even want to live in your neighborhood no more. See, while you're worried about what the president is doing, your city will make it so that you can't afford to live there no more. So you better start getting involved and get ready now. See, people say that I don't want to get involved with student government because they take it too seriously. You have to learn to take it seriously. Because, see, these people don't stop being serious after they graduate here. They go on to be bigger parts of government. They go on to be the people that be on your child's PTA that affect your child's education. So deal with them now so you'll know how to deal with the process. Because you never get more time. It only gets harder. You better learn to get involved. Plan for it now. This is what you will become after you graduate. You'll be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. It never stops. Get politically active. Understand your vote and understand its power. We vote, but we don't know who or understand what we're voting for. We stand in line for a sticker to say we voted. We let people tell us who to vote for, so we can feel good about ourselves. That's not really being politically active, folks. It's being a fool and it's being self-righteous. Being a part of the process is what we fought for, not just having the right to be a part of the process. Slavery has supposedly been over for almost 150 years, but just physically. Because they still got your mind, they still got your money. Poverty and debt that became our new slave masters. Materialism is running amok. We're running ourselves both for Jordan, iPhone, and BlackBerry, and insert whatever company you like in the name slot.